Hello, everyone, and welcome to Perspectives. I'm Sam Jones, and it's great to have you with us today. Our first guest, locally owned and operated, she is, because she's a native, and we're going to find out some interesting facts from this lady, but she is now the owner of Church Studio. And if you have been keeping up with the news as of late, you will know that tourism is a major force in Oklahoma. Well, Teresa Knox is well aware of that and is now stepping up and putting her money where her mouth is. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I heard a lot about you. Whatever in the world possessed you to buy the church?
Well, it was really sort of an impulse purchase. You know, I come from a family that everyone just absolutely loved music, proud of our musical heritage here in Oklahoma. Always grew up hearing about Leon Russell and J.J. Kell and started collecting music and music memorabilia. And it was a boarded up building. It looked like it needed a little TLC, and I contacted the owner. I wrote him a letter. And I said, hey, I'm a big Leon Russell fan. Would you ever consider selling? He said, it's not for sale, but meet me down the street at this bar. And we met and met and met and finally came to an agreement, and I bought it sight unseen.
Oh, that's great. And you've gone through all kinds of refurbishing on the inside. I can't wait to see it.
Well, I would love to give you a tour. It did. It was in pretty bad shape. It took a little over 6 years to renovate the property. During that time, we did get it listed on the National Register of Historic Places. We're really proud of that because we're one of 6 historic recording studios in America that's not only recognized by the home state, but the federal government. So we're in the same cohort as Capitol Records, Motown, RCA Studio B, Muscle Shoals, Stax. So we're really proud of that fact.
Well, so many names have walked through the door at the church. Leon Russell owned it for a period of years.
He did.
And he worked in the church. But you've had Willie Nelson pass through. You've had all these big names quietly go through.
Yes.
I mean, it's a powerhouse little place.
It is. I mean, Leon was top performing artist in America in 1972 when he decided to come back to his hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He is the one who converted it from a church into a recording studio. But during that time, I mean, it's where Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers got their start. They're probably the biggest artist assigned to Leon's record label, Shelter Records. But Eric Clapton lived in Tulsa for a period of time. Of course, Tulsa's own Dwight Twilley band, the Gap Band, but Stevie Wonder in Kansas, you mentioned Willie, Bob Dylan. I mean, the list goes on and on of the artists that came through. George Harrison. It really was a magnet for those types of artists in the 70s, and they were really drawn to Leon Russell. I mean, he was very well respected in the industry.
Is the church open for tours?
Yes, so our primary function, we are a recording studio once again, but we're also a tourist attraction. We have different programming. We have live music 3 days a week at noon. It's a program called Tunes at Noon. But we attract visitors on a local level, on a national level, and international level. I work every Saturday, so that's a big day for tourism. And without fail, there's someone from Japan, from the UK, Australia, Canada. And as a native Tulsan, it's like, wow, you came to my home city to check things out. A lot of it is also driven by the Bob Dylan Center and the Woody Guthrie Center. But as you know, there's live music in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 7 days a week. And people are just very interested in all things Americana. Of course, Route 66 is a really big draw, especially as we're approaching the 100th anniversary of the Mother Road.
Well, there is a lot to draw folk in. This is your book.
It is.
And I must say, I haven't had a chance to look at it. This is the way it looks, a good, nice, steady shot. Tell us a little bit about it, what all you put in it.
Yeah, so the book is really about the building. The building is 110 years old. It was built by the people of Tulsa, no blueprints, no architect. That happened in 1915 when they opened up. And the building is located just east of downtown Tulsa. I believe it is the only building of its type, but it really has a beautiful story. It served the population. I mean, it pretty much has grown up with the city of Tulsa. It's lived through the Great Depression, 2 world wars, the Vietnam War, and so many other things in our city and our nation's history. And it really is lovely. So the early chapter of the book is all about the early church. There are many artifacts that we found during the renovation that had slipped through the cracks.
Really?
So there are hymnals, there are pamphlets, brochures, which really tells the story of the early church. And then chapter 2 is one of my favorite chapters. It's really what Leon Russell did. It's the conversion. It's called From Hymns to Hits, and it's the conversion of a church into a recording studio. And then we have a chapter on Shelter Records, which was the boutique record label that Leon had with his business partner, British producer Denny Cordell. And then we have a whole chapter on Leon Russell. And so we feature a lot of artifacts. In addition to being a recording studio, we're a music museum. So we have over 6,000 artifacts that we have exhibits. People can walk through the archive. We rotate those. And it really tells a neat story, primarily centered around the Tulsa sound and Tulsa's musical heritage.
Where is the book available?
You can get the book on our website, thechurchstudio.com. You can also come into the church. You can just go walk in and go to the store, or you can take a tour with one of our trained docents. But it is available. In October, the audio version will be out on your favorite streaming platform, along with our companion album. We are a recording studio, so of course we had to record original music that goes along with the book. So we have 9 chapters, and we have 9 really great songs to go along with each chapter.
We got about a minute for the benefit of the public. What are the hours of operation?
So we're really open 7 days a week, but for the public to come in, we're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then we're open late on Wednesday nights. We have kind of a happy hour. We do, I hate to say this in a church, but we have a lounge where you can come in and have a glass of wine or your favorite cocktail while taking a tour of the studio.
Sounds really homey.
Yes, it is.
Hey, thanks for coming by.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for your interest. It's a really important.
You have no idea. I'm going to get a copy of this book, and I've got to tell you, I have recorded in the church.
What? You're one of our alumnus.
It was one of the many years ago, but I did some voice work there and saw a camera destroyed. It was an accident. The tripod fell. Not my fault.
Well, come on in and sing. We'll record you.
I'm not. No.
Hey, we have auto-tune. We can make anyone sound good. So.
Well, all right. I'll take you up on that. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more right after this. Our next guests are actually members of the faculty here at Rogers State University. Samineni and Abhilash Minukuri. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yes! I can go home now. It's good to have both of you here.
Thank you for having
And
me
the
here.
subject matter that we're going to be talking about is artificial intelligence. I mean, this has just exploded within the last couple of years, and you guys are involved in course development and in teaching it. How in the world did you see it coming?
So I am a recent graduate. I graduated from Oklahoma State University with a master's in computer science, where I was actually working with AI tools. My research focus and my master's focus was already AI. And post-graduation, I worked in a research lab also on AI. Then a position here opened up, so I thought I'd be rather be here helping a lot of students know more about AI. So that's how I started doing it.
Yeah, I was introduced to AI in my master's program. Back when I was doing my master's, there was no like tools like ChatGPT or there were no AI tools that were available online. But I think that's when it started to grow. And in Oklahoma, when we started designing this program, there were no degrees in Oklahoma, and the race for AI talent was increasing. And then our leadership mentioned this, that there were no degrees in Oklahoma. That's when we decided that we need to work on coming up with a good program. And we started working on it, and we were able to build a good and effective program. And yeah, that's a good. And we are the first regional university in Oklahoma to have this program. So yeah.
It's like an option inside the Bachelor's of Information Technology. The AI is just an added option.
Yeah.
And I think about 2 other or 3 other universities just have it currently in Oklahoma. This is one of the very few bachelors that is available.
You know, at my age, as I hear about it and read about it, I'm struck with the fact that it does so much good, and the potential is there for it to do even more. Already, we see purveyors of give me your money on television trying to con folks out of their dollars and their hard-earned savings through artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So we're well aware it's being used, for bad things, if you will. But the future is incredibly bright. I mean, this could go anywhere. As a matter of fact, I saw a report the other day that said some computer systems now that have employed artificial intelligence in their thinking capacity have learned that you have to not trick the computer, but you have to teach it to back off. You have to stop it, or the thing will come up with 10, 15, 20 endings all on its own. So, I mean, is this an ongoing problem?
Yeah, kind of an ongoing problem. Like, you have to, human intelligence or human brain has to put a stop to, like, do this, just don't do that. There should be like a balance between human intelligence and AI brain, right? But if you're just asking students or anybody to not use AI at all, that is not an option. Because if, for example, students step into workforce, they take 40 minutes to write a paper. Probably somebody who's using AI will take 2 minutes to write it. So they have to learn it, but they also have to not give their personal information in there. So, for example, they consider healthcare, right? If nurses are using AI to like diagnose patients, they have to use their brain as well. They can't just say through X-ray, and they can't put all of the patient information into AI and just say, give me the answer, give me the diagnosis, stuff like that. So there is a lot of need for everybody, not just students, but for everybody to understand that there could be privacy issues, there could be a lot of ethical implications to this AI. It could do a lot of good, but if it's used in the correct way.
And
that is why we are, sorry.
And that's the main reason we introduced topics like ethical AI use in our program, so that students will have the knowledge on the limitations when they're working on building those AI tools, on how they have to be designed to actually do good instead of bad, and doesn't get manipulated or misguided, so that the AI tools will be accurate.
Like you said, it is really easy to scam out anybody just using AI voice or AI image. It looks exactly like a person or sounds just like somebody you know, right?
Exactly.
So it's really important for everybody to have that general awareness as to recognize at least this is wrong, this is probably not a human, or my son calling to just ask me for money and stuff like that. There have been a lot of scams like that. So it's important that this awareness is raised, people learn about AI or general how AI systems work and what could be wrong. How should they protect themselves from in this digital era, because everything's online.
I have to tell you, when I first became aware of AI, all of a sudden I said, wait, whoa, hold it, just a minute. There are things here we can't let AI know about.
Exactly.
How do you prevent it?
So it's in the learning, as I said, as long as you make people aware, like teachers, be it teachers or research, industries that are using AI, if they make people aware that this is a possibility, AI could do bad things, harm the society. AI could, if it moves, currently there are no robotic systems that like harm people, but they could build systems like that. So there is a stopping point to AI. It has to do certain things, it can't. So your human judgment should be there present at all times, telling you not to do this. Just cannot use AI for every single thing, right? So
In academic level, I believe that every topic, like every major, has to integrate AI ethical use in their own field, because every field has different limitations. Healthcare has a different limitations. Robotics has a different limitations. So, in every field, the AI ethics should be a topic that should be taught in academia, so that everyone in that, if they're learning about robotics, they will be aware of how to use AI, where to use AI, and how much I need to use AI. So things like that. I think it should be in academic level, so that in future, if they go out in the workforce, they'll have all the knowledge on how they can use AI.
It would seem as though we're on the cutting edge, if you will, with AI, of space exploration, of medicine. I mean, the possibilities of cures for this disease and that disease are endless.
Yeah.
Absolutely endless. Listen, thank you both for coming. Will you come back?
absolutely.
And I'll be better with your names. All right?
You're fine. That is my name. You pronounce it right. So
Well, anyway, thank you both for coming by.
yeah.
We're sure glad you're here on campus. Short break. We'll be back with more right after this. And we're back. Our final guests for this get-together today, Jimmy Adams and Tonya Blansett. Blansett. I'm so sorry. I experienced some names earlier that I just am still warped on, but I'll get them. I'll get them down. And you're with the Tulsa Air and Space Museum.
Correct.
Big happenings, big doings,
It's a big year.
because we may have a warthog.
We do have a warthog. We do own it. So now we're just in the process of demilitarizing it. There's some parts that have to be removed, and then we have to remove the wings, load it on a truck, and then bring it to Tulsa, reassemble it, and paint it, and put it on display. So it's a little bit of a process.
Well, question comes, and I know folks out there are going to want to know the answer to this. Why can't they just fly it in?
Well, this particular aircraft is a 78 model. And so after they retired it from active duty service, it went to Shepherd Air Force Base, which in the Air Force world is called the schoolhouse. And that's where the mechanics, A&P mechanics, that's where they learn in the Air Force. And so this aircraft was used for training. And so the engines were removed. And so it's probably been taken apart and put back together hundreds, if not thousands of times by Air Force students. And so that's how we're acquiring it. So now it's going to come to its final home. We're in the process of doing the research and tracking down the combat history of this aircraft, and we have found one of the pilots that flew it during Desert Storm. And he has been sharing his logbook and pictures. The aircraft at one point was painted in the dark green camo of the early Desert Storm when the A-10s were brought over from Europe. And so now it's a gray color. We're going to keep it the gray color, but we're really excited because.
Well, you should be.
Yeah,
I mean, I tell you what, that was one of the most feared aircraft in the last skirmish we had in Vietnam.
The airplane itself, the entire airplane was built around the gun, and we were laughing in the museum, looking up, research and looking for pictures and stuff, and she came across something that said, my airplane has a gun. And somebody said, yeah, that's cute. My gun has wings.
That should be the quote
Yeah.
that goes on the front of it. When do you expect delivery?
It's probably going to be 6 to 12 months, anywhere in that time frame. A lot of it just depends on how quickly we can get down to Shepherd with mechanic crew. And there's quite a few hundreds of parts that have to be removed that they recycle and put in the C models. So it's a process. It could be 6 to 12 months. So.
And Jimmy, I guess the procedure after that, it'll take another, what, 6 months or so to get it ready just to show to people?
Yeah, there'll be quite a bit into the disassembly. There's, they made it easy to work on in the field, but it's easy for the mechanics that worked on it. It's not going to be easy to find the crew, or maybe research and find a crew of 8 to 10 mechanics that are going to be readily available. So we'll be doing part of the work. The mechanics that did the work in the past, maybe we can get a few of them to help us. But yeah, it'll be quite a bit of work getting it apart.
Well, you know, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but we have a large body of Vietnam vets living right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of which might be able to help.
Right, yeah, and we have a few contacts for that, and it's such a big industry in the state. You know, aviation is the second biggest industry in the state. So we have a huge pool of people we can pull from. It's just a matter of getting in contact, getting it scheduled out, getting all the details worked out, and then coming up with the funding. So we actually have a link on our website. That's what we're using to drum up the funding to get this thing up here. It's going to cost quite a bit. And so there's a link on our website for how people can contribute to that, donate to that event, and basically just work together as a community to get the plane up to Tulsa.
I just found out just before we started that the current director of NASA was a former director of the Air and Space Museum. Am I getting that right?
Well, he's no longer the NASA administrator. He's now has a private company. But the 13th NASA administrator was Jim Bridenstine, and Jim was a previous director at the museum.
Also served as a congressman.
Yes, congressman.
Out of the 1st District. What's traffic like for you guys out there? I've been out, I don't know how many times, and everything changes, and it's marvelous what you've done and what you're doing. But the educational value of it is astounding.
Right, that's the whole purpose of a museum in the beginning, is the education. You know, what I mentioned about it being the second biggest industry. You want to educate the public as much as possible. You know, I was a high school aviation teacher before I came to the museum, and I was drilling into those students' heads, this is where you're going to find work. You know, I fell into it. I've been a huge aviation enthusiast my entire life. But I fell into the work industry on accident because there's so much of it out there. And so I was telling these kids, you know, the airframe and power plant, that license is a good living. You know, you go get your certifications, you can make a good living working on airplanes, and there's lots of jobs out there. And so part of educating them is not just, you know, this is a job, but, you know, getting them into an airplane where they can fly the airplane and experience it and pilot the airplane a little bit like on a discovery flight, even if they don't want to be a pilot. It's very exciting to do that. You know, I had one student, he got out of the plane after his discovery flight and he fell flat on the ground. He just couldn't believe he got into a plane and flew it. And, you know, he's not interested in being a pilot, but it's exciting. You know, you're trying to reach these kids at a young age because that's where it's really gonna sink in that it's an important thing for them to learn about.
Our biggest enemy is time on this show is time, and we are out of it. I want to thank both of you for coming in, and will you please throw a rock over here and let us know when that thing is almost here?
Absolutely.
We'd love to get some pictures.
Yeah.
Well, and we have the first female commander, Eileen Collins, coming to the museum on September 18th.
Wow.
And she flew 4 missions, and she was the first female pilot and the first female commander. And so she's going to be coming to the museum to do screenings of her new documentary, Space Woman.
Will you all come back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, love
Well, want you as a team, okay?
to. All right.
All right, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for this edition of Perspectives. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here next time.